Good evening, all you evil deadites out there. It's your host of the most, Benjamin Dutil, coming to you back with another exciting episode of the Horror Healing YouTube channel and the South Jersey Horror Podcast. Welcome back, genre fans. Today we are diving deep into the bloody, visceral world of one of cinema's most legendary horror franchises. Joining us today is the incredibly talented Kiwi actress Tandi Wright. She stars as Susan, the grieving matriarch in the brutal, claustrophobic new standalone nightmare Evil Dead Burn. Tandi, on behalf of horror fans everywhere, I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me today to talk about the Deadites, maternal grief, and enduring what might be the most grueling shoot of the year. Thank you.
It's a
How the
great
hell are you doing?
pleasure. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you. It's been a lovely couple of weeks since the movie previewed and then was released into the world. It's been kind of amazing and joyful. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here chatting with you, Ben.
I want to say on my perspective, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I went to see Evil Dead Burn in theater, I was skeptical because I wasn't very happy with Evil Dead Rise. I might get a lot of flack from that, but I don't care. So, however, Evil Dead Burn blew me out of the water, exceeded all my expectations, and your role, holy shit! I'm sorry for my language if I cuss, but
Totally fine.
is amazing. You delivered. You hit it on the you hit the nail on the head. Honestly, with your role, I mean, flawlessly. And I have tons of questions, but let's
Yeah.
focus on what your character is and who she is. So let's get started.
Yeah, sure. So, how are we for spoilers here? Shall I try and stay away from them? Do you feel like most of your audience will have seen it?
I'm guessing my 99% have seen it. I'm seeing it all over my feed, my friends. So
Okay, amazing. So then they'll know that my character Susan is the matriarch of the family, and Susan is someone who is used to being in control in her life, and she really takes care of her family. She wraps around her family, and she has given up a lot for her family. And what I have loved so much about this role is playing someone who's used to being in control and suddenly they can control nothing and their world is just exploding and she's desperately trying to grab some vestige of something solid, and the world just keeps getting weirder and weirder and things go from bad to worse. So I personally love that, playing in those domestic settings, because it's a world that we can all relate to, and there are real character relationships which you're invested in, the family relationships, and then it all goes to hell in a handbasket. And that is just like an actor's playground.
well, go to hell in a handbasket. I would say that's an understatement for this movie. Um, it's more than just that. So
Yeah, yeah.
for those who are the loyal fans of the franchise, know exactly what's going on. And for those who are not familiar with the franchise, I must say you're missing out because this started back in the 80s and it just keeps going. I mean, it resonates. It's continuing to grow. And it's one of my favorite franchises in the world, next to Michael Myers and Halloween, of course, the seat behind me. So, I mean,
Amazing. Amazing.
anyway, an Evil Dead Burn. Susan is a mother dealing with the unimaginable tragedy of losing a son,
Mhm.
only for his widow to arrive and the household to descend into demonic chaos.
Mhm.
I mean, that is, I guess that's the best way to summarize this whole entire movie, demonic chaos. How does Susan balance that intense foundational maternal grief with the immediate survival instinct needed to face the Necronomicon's curse? Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think she's acting on instinct. So and this is not a spoiler, when we open in the film, she has lost her oldest son, her golden boy, and so she's left with the slightly hopeless second son, who she still loves, and she's keen to protect him. But so that instinct is, she's deep in grief when we meet her at the beginning of the film, and also I think what we figure out through the film is that Susan is really lonely. She's she's lost her beautiful golden son, and her own relationship with her husband Edgar has, I think, over time dried up. It's calcified, it's shriveled. There's much less emotional connection now than there used to be. In fact, there's kind of none. So it's a slightly loveless marriage that she's in now. So there's a kind of a sadness to her, but she's also tough. And so she'll deal with whatever life throws at her. And I think what is interesting in the film is that, when our lead character, Alice, played by the amazing Suela Yakub, when she arrives, we get these two really clear worldviews of two women from different generations. So the way that Susan sees Alice is very self-possessed, and she's kind of knows what she wants in the world, and she's comfortable putting herself first and, doing what she needs to do for her. Whereas to Susan, that's quite a selfish way to be in the world. For Susan, she's grown up with the idea of service, of sacrifice, and she always puts her family first. She will always put their needs above her. And to a certain degree, Susan's probably lost touch with what she wants, what makes her happy in the world. But I see this as a really interesting conversation in the film because, we currently live in a world which is quite, like the rights of the individual are quite celebrated. And maybe that's to a certain degree at the expense of community and what's best, for the whole. So I think that's a really, really, really interesting conversation to be having in a horror film, basically.
Exactly. So I get it. The whole being stuck in the house. I'm claustrophobic. So, I mean, it was kind of hard for me to watch this movie, but I was in the theater surrounded by 100 people. So I'm like, please don't freak out. Please don't freak out. Please don't freak out. So
yeah, totally.
So just imagine being stuck in a house, all that chaos. Man, I think I would, again, pardon my language, shit my pants just because of what's going on. So just
yeah, totally.
So the franchise is famous for its deadite, transformations. And without spoiling too much, does your character spend more time trying to survive the family reunion, or did you have to spend hours in makeup chair playing a demonic version of her?
Yeah, so both, actually. I get to do, the joy of it is I get to do everything. But also one of the great things about this franchise and the way that Sebastian, our director, was working with us is that everyone in their transformation to Deadite Land, it's very individual. So the way you behave as a Deadite, your physicality, we all worked on that a lot, and we worked with the stunt team a lot. And that's kind of beautiful to see in the film. That's very specific. There's not some kind of generic wash of this is how the Deadites always are. It's very character driven. So I did spend quite a lot of time in the makeup chair, but I've been in other horror films where it's more gory. This one was more like detailed and nuanced. So the amount of time in the chair might be the same, but because the effects are, they are, it's more subtle, I suppose, but it doesn't mean they take less time, if you know what I mean. But it is one of the great joys of a film like this is that as an actor, it takes everything. It takes all of my brain because it's technical. You've got to be in the right place at the right time. You've got to be all the story elements coming together. It's very emotional. This role is and that's what really surprised me about this role is it just required all of my heart. There was no shortcutting what this sort of required. And then also it's incredibly physical with all the stunts. So it's sort of like total actor gym that you go to when you're doing a role like this. And to be honest, those roles are really rare. And this is what I have been super enjoying about the roles that I have played in recent years that have been the most challenging and the most complex have been in horror, by a country mile. And I don't know why I'm surprised by that. I shouldn't be. I feel like horror is one of the most, because it's not quite the real world, there's a creativity and a playfulness in the genre that I guess I hadn't kind of computed until recently, that I sort of love that freedom and just the playground of it. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be part of it.
I bet is I understand what you're saying. The horror genre opens a lot of doors, is what it's
Mm,
saying, and there's a
yeah,
lot of opportunities to do whatever the hell you want to do with it. So
yeah.
it's like for this movie, for instance, I mean, I can see the creativeness and imagine the and what's the word I'm looking for? Creativeness and the imagination, all that
Hmm.
put in this movie. I
Yeah.
mean, this surpassed a lot of my expectations, like I said at the beginning of the interview, and I'm very hard to impress. So
Yeah, that's
plenty.
great. And and I mean, a lot of that is down to Sebastian, and he's amazing. I think he's going to be a major talent. He is. Some of the things that he was doing with camera, I was like, holy shit, I have never seen this before. Excuse my French, but it was like, whoa, this is cool, man. I'm so happy to be part of this.
And I say that like it's a good thing because there have been many times I walked out of the theater of a movie just because I was so bored with it. So,
Right.
but this one had me on the edge of my seat the entire time, and
Right.
I'm looking around like I can't get up. I want to see what happens next. So I had to go to the bathroom so bad, but I'm like I don't want to miss anything. so,
That's a good sign.
so yeah, if I hold my stuff, you know it's good.
Exactly. Exactly. We gotcha.
Okay, as the matriarch of this secluded household. What do you think Evil Dead Burn is trying to say about the lengths that mother would go to protect or ultimately destroy her own family?
Yeah. I mean, this is a film in which I feel like this character, I feel like most mothers in the world will turn into a lioness when they need to protect their cubs, and that is definitely what like Susan is. It, she will literally, she will go to hell for her family. And actually, that is what she chooses. She makes a conscious choice to put her family first in that way and make the ultimate sacrifice. So she's amazing, I think, in that respect. She's, genuinely selfless. But I definitely think the film has some interesting, and they're not like in your face themes, but they're there if you want to see them. Like an interesting conversation there about the way we treat outsiders, the way we treat people who are different from us, or I think Susan, Susan doesn't go so well for Susan when she tries to kind of keep everyone else away from her family, or try to protect them in an insular way. It's kind of an interesting conversation to think in a broader way about change and not being afraid of change, and letting other people into your lives who may have skills that you don't have, or attitudes that you don't have, or I kind of love that about the genre as well, is that you can explore quite complicated themes, but you can explore it in a way where it's not heavy. It's just kind of there. We've got all our thrills and our spills and our gore, but there's a deeper conversation going on, and I think that's kind of cool because it means the film works on several levels, and it's there for the viewer if they want it, and if they don't, it's totally fine as well.
Absolutely. So, in my humble opinion, I think Susan should deserve the Mother of the Century award for what she's done for her kids. So, I mean,
I agree.
so I've seen some shady moms in horror movies, but Susan is she's like the queen right now. So, I mean, definitely has my respect. I mean, so
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be up against her, would you?
yeah, force be reckoned with. I'm good. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I sort of love that she turns into this when she turns that there's a real physicality to her, and I was, I mean, I did have an amazing stunt double, but I also did get harnessed up and pulled up to the ceiling and then along the ceiling, and that's another kind of treat of this genre, is getting to do that real physical work, and then having those experiences where I was rehearsing with the stunt team and I was completely upside down on a ceiling, and figuring out that when you're in that position, well, mine anyway, my brain wasn't working quite the same way as it would have, as if I was down on Earth. So I was trying to like coordinate my right hand and my left leg, and my brain wasn't able to use my limbs in the way that it was, like it could do it, but I really had to practice and think about it. It was quite interesting to be like, oh, what's going on? I'm upside down, but this is a different thing my brain needs to do now. Kind of cool.
That's called a mix of adrenaline and dopamine. So that's why you get fog brains.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I
so
think that's right. And then the pressure of the harness, and you're like, oh God, this is really uncomfortable, but I've still got to do my job. It's cool, man. It's really, yeah. I'm lucky. I love my job.
I would not to be able to do any stunt work on a set. I'd probably get fired the first day just for being too excited. I mean, like, you want to flip backwards 6 times? Hell yeah. And the way it's like, no, not 6 times, 10 times. Oh, well, I could do 10 shit. But I would just be too excited. I would not be able to hold my composure. And I think the director's like, get off my set, dude. You suck. I mean,
well, we did have an amazing stunt team, all Kiwis, and they were they take you through it slowly. So they're assessing you as you go, and they're figuring out what you can handle and what you can't, and you do get to practice. And we did have this one particular shot. There's a oneer in the film, which is a really amazing one shot of a big stunt sequence. And for us, that was kind of like a piece of theatre. We had to rehearse it. So we came in on a day off. Everyone came in, and all the cast were there, and then all of our stunt doubles were there, because and in fact, some people, I think Hunter had 2 stunt doubles. Edgar might have had 2 as well, because we had to sort of all, like my stunt double would come and she would drop onto a table and she would roll, and then I would come and crawl under a table to be ready to leap out at the table, and then I would get hauled off, and then I have to run around the back of the set to be at a different entrance to come in to continue the stunt scene. And meanwhile, all the pyrotechnics are going off, bookcases are falling, ceilings fall, there's all this other kind of like major kind of set elements all in one shot. It's just a kind of a tour de force from the stunt department, and then special effects as well. Like we were all having such fun that day. It was like we were at the theater, and this is a real time, real life situation. It was really kind of playful and fun.
it sounds like it. Now I'm envious, because one of these days I'm gonna be able to visit a movie set and just see all that special effects, makeup, all that magic. I want to see it one of these days. That's on my bucket list. I'm 47. I'm about to hit. I got 1 foot in the grave. I want to go see it.
Yeah, right.
One of these days. Okay. Your character's other son, Joseph, played by Hunter Doohan, is the one who uncovers their grandfather's dark research and unwraps the Book of the Dead.
Yeah.
And we all know curiosity kills the cat in these movies. I mean, it also gets you in a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
What is the dynamic between your character and Joseph as she watches her remaining son accidentally unleash hell upon their home?
Yeah. I mean, well, firstly, can I tell you how much I love Hunter? He is just absolutely like, what a joy. We have this joke about how he's my second favorite son. He's just absolutely lovely. So I think Susan feels like, she loves him, but he's a little bit hopeless. He's, he's not really in control of his life. He's got this kind of arty writer thing going on. He's never going to make any money at that. So I think Susan feels like she really has to protect him. He's not super brave. And then I think there's a moment when his character Joseph is dealing with Tia, his girlfriend who has transitioned to Deadite Land, and there's a particular moment of brutality there, and there's a look between me and Hunter, our characters, between Susan and Joseph, and at that point, I can see it. It's like, oh God, like my son is capable of this incredible, awful thing, but that's kind of where we are at now. It's sort of like, oh, and maybe this is how it goes in horror movies. Is like each scene there's a new crisis and a new low in terms of human behavior and what you'll do to survive. I hadn't quite computed at the beginning of this process. I hadn't quite computed that every single scene was going to be life and death stakes. So every single scene is super exhausting as a performer, because you need that kind of adrenaline, fight and flight, high intensity in your body the whole time. So it was super physical. More than I was expecting. I was sort of trying to. It was like I was, in a way, I did a lot of physical warm-ups for this role, more than I've done for any other role, I think, and that was partly me trying to. I don't know how to explain this, but it's like asking my body to use its wisdom rather than my brain, because in those fight and flight situations, that is what happens. Your brain is not super helpful, but your body knows what to do. So it was sort of, that was interesting. Yeah. But it was, we had such a great cast, and because it's a small cast, we were very, very close. We really bonded. There was a little cast tent for us, and the more tense things were on set, the more ridiculous jokes and stupid physical comedy would happen in the cast tent, because we were all kind of trying to let that tension go, Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, I would imagine it would be hard on set not to be goofy and not to release all that tension. I mean, you're filming a horror movie, for Christ's sake. I mean, there's all the elements there, and you have to let that go somehow. Otherwise, it's gonna, you won't be able to sleep at night. It's just
exactly. And at the end of the day, I mean, nobody died. It's a story we're telling. Nobody really died.
So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. Yeah. And I think some projects you go, I'm really realizing how lucky I am to do this job. It's a privilege, and there's a lot of people who would love to be in my position, and I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for the work and to work with beautiful creatives who we're all working to make this film the best it can be. And all, like, Sebastian is amazing. All of our HODs are amazing. Our very experienced producers, Rob Tappert and Rommel Adam, who've been with this franchise for a long time. People who are invested in the world, but also, want to have fun and enjoy the process. It just was a really special vibe. Yeah.
I bet. It sounds like I could feel your energy through the screen. I mean, I'm living through you vicariously. This is cool. So
nice.
Well, because the movie takes place entirely in a secluded home, the horror feels deeply claustrophobic. I hate that word. So how did the physical limitations that set help to elevate the tension and paranoia among the cast and the characters begin turning the deadites one by one?
Yeah. I mean, we had this amazing set, which actually was a whole house, and it was a 3-story house. So, there's a big staircase that we physically could run up and down, and we did. And it actually makes a massive difference that, the set kitchen actually leads to the set dining room, which actually leads to the set hallway. So you can have those big set pieces, because often in a studio you'll go and the rooms will all be isolated, and you'll be standing out in the studio and you'll open the door into the bedroom. Whereas on this set, almost all of it was complete. And it means you've got more creative freedom because you can, when you're blocking the scene, you can go where you feel you need to go. But also, you're right there. You don't have to create that world. It's real.
Yeah.
And it just really helps. And then also the actual exterior of the house, that's a real house. So we were out shooting there and it happened to be a full moon and it was really spooky. Because all the art department had got all this dry ice, like lots of it. So there was kind of felt like fog everywhere and the full moon was there and then this spooky Gothic style house. It was a little bit like, and there was Errol in his crazy makeup, just being super scary. He's amazing, by the way, Errol, who plays my husband, Edgar. So having all of those real elements, it just really helps because you don't have to create them. You can just concentrate on the story, but you actually feed off the energy of the environment.
So essentially it set the tone for the entire film.
Yeah.
And I guess it helped you get into a better mindset of your character and what you have to do while filming the sequences. So I
Yeah.
love hearing about that. I love how the set, like some people don't realize the set plays a character itself. So it's almost like I guess like a supporting character role pretty much. So
Yeah,
that's how I
totally.
see it.
Yeah. And Sebastian had done this really cool thing where he wanted hardly any color on set. He wanted it really bleached out. And to me, that also felt like the life that Susan's living now. It's sort of lost its color. And then Sebastian there would just be the odd pop of color, like my lips or Suela's hair. So that there's just when you're using color, it's really specific and for a reason. But the rest of it sort of indicates that this is a kind of a dried up family. It's bleached of all color and tone and fun, and it's kind of a beautiful aesthetic, I think.
So everyone needs to have a ray of sunshine, and obviously this family needs it so bad. It's just
Yeah.
so. Were there any practical special effects while filming that inside this secluded family, claustrophobic? Oh my God, I can't think. I'm already getting fear to my head just seeing how claustrophobic this house is. So, um,
Yeah.
were you genuinely terrified doing any stunts?
I mean, I I felt safe actually. I felt safe. There were things that were physically demanding, but they weren't as hard as the emotional demands by any means. And I felt like uh, I felt like the stunt stuff was it was really fun as well. It was a challenge, and I didn't feel like I was being asked to do something that was beyond my capability. There were a couple of things where I had this amazing stunt double Elodie, and there was one thing, for instance, where she popped up out of a hole in the ground and she went "Ow, ow," like crazy. You couldn't really see her face, and I was like, I could do that. And then I got in there and was like the hole was like super jagged and actually really kind of gnarly, and I was like, oh no, I think Elodie might need to do this bit. Because I always want to do the stunt if I can, but there are some things that I know 100% she's going to do better than me, and she will make me look better, and that's better for the film. So I don't feel precious about that stuff, but I love giving it a go. I'll always want to do as much as I can because it helps. It's good for the work. It's good for me to experience it, and then I bring that into the character, and she grows. So the fight in the bathroom was probably the most challenging stunt scene for me, mine and Suela's character, and that we shot that for 2 days. And it was actually spec'd to be even bigger. And there were some super cool moments in that scene that we had to cut, which I was just really gutted about, but we were just running out of time. So that being in a harness, being up on the roof, climbing down and then sort of fighting all over the bathroom. That was fun. Because also, you know, in a bathroom, there are a lot of hard surfaces and
Yeah.
corners of things. And we had a bath as well, which, you know, is really hard. So, yeah, there are lots of tricks that the art department can help with and stunt department can help with, but there are some things you just have to rehearse and rehearse and rehearse until they are safe. So that's what we did.
So before we wrap up, I just want to point out you are the fourth actor that I interviewed in New Zealand. So this is wonderful.
No,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Ah,
First was Milo Cawthorn. He lives in Auckland.
I know Milo.
He,
Yeah.
Kimberly Crossman. They were both in the movie Deathgasm together. Yes.
I know Kim.
And
Yes.
then Amy Donovan, who played Megan in the movie Megan. So
Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
love talking to. I make a shift with this. I love talking to actors who live in New Zealand. I love the accent. I love the culture, the land of Kiwi. Damn it, I love it. So
Come on down. Come visit.
that's actually on my bucket list too, to visit New Zealand one of these days. So
Yeah.
with that being said, one last final question: is there anything coming up that you're allowed to talk about that you can share with the audience?
Oh, I do have a film coming out at Christmas, actually. Um, it's called, I think I can share this. I don't see why not. It's called Mr. Irrelevant. And it's a film that I made with David Corenswet, who plays my son in that. And he was gorgeous. And that's a completely different genre. It's a wonderful story set in the world of American football. And so I'm really excited. We filmed that in Melbourne, and I'm super excited for that because it is so different. And it's just a really beautiful story. Again, the family at the heart of that story, but also you wait till you see David Corenswet do his thing because he is amazing. He is amazing. Yet
Amazing.
another beautiful son of mine that I've adopted.
Amazing. Wow. Absolute thrill to talk to you about your role in this movie. Total match class, how to survive a dead apocalypse, essentially. So thank you so much for sharing those terrifying behind the scenes secrets and for bringing us this raw, powerful emotion to the screen. You are a master of your class. You are on, okay. We just recognize you're very talented in what you do as an actress. So on a
Thank
side
you.
note, for everyone watching at home, make sure you do not miss Tandi Wright delivering an unforgettable performance in The Evil Dead Burn, playing exclusively in theaters right now. Trust me, it is a nasty, relentless ride that you need to experience on the biggest screen possible.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Tandy. You stay awesome, you stay amazing, and keep that shit up. And I will definitely see you on the big screen again.
Thank you, Ben. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Lovely to chat.
Lovely. Honor, pleasure's all mine. Take care.
See ya.
Just like me, you, and I know you too.